Okay, time for our final Gummi mission as we head to the final area of the game, which honestly I could have probably just started calling End of the World quite some time ago. There was no reason to keep hiding that.
Yeah. End of the world of worlds, kind of.
So while we're doing Gummi stuff, I got a couple of things to correct that I said last time that were wrong. Unknown was not in the international release, that last bonus boss. He was added in Final Mix.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Phantom was in the original release. They added Kurt Zisa, Ice Titan, and Sephiroth in the international, and Unknown was added in Final Mix. So we didn't get to play him until 2013.
That is the closest you've ever come to even remotely dying.
Yep. And there it is, the end of the world. Yeah, I wanted to make it so that when I set foot here, I don't leave until the game is over. So that's the reason why things got shuffled around and we did time travel last time.
What was the canon reason for this place appearing?
The worlds being falling to darkness, I believe.
Ah, okay.
I believe Goofy says gives that in just a second. Like, this is all that's left of the worlds. Let's see. Yep.
Is that all that's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless?
Yeah, so in the same way that Traverse Town was made up of random bits of those worlds, this one also is.
But if we do beat him...
Oh, and this is not the Realm of Darkness. At no point in this game does Sora actually make it to the Realm of Darkness. He gets pretty close, but we're not there yet. Right now we're in the Realm Between.
This is a Heartless world, so maybe it'll just disappear. Huh? But no worries. Even if this place goes poof, our hearts ain't going nowhere. I'm sure we'll find our pals again. Yep, I just know that we will.
Oh yeah, I also somewhat lied about not seeing the Unknown again until Kingdom Hearts 2. He does show up in the in one of the secret movies that we'll be watching next time. But other than that, yeah, we won't see him until 2. Also, even though we got Ansem Reports 10 and 11 from international content from those bonus bosses, 10, 11, and 12 weren't added until Final Mix.
Oh, so that's just new lore. Okay.
Yeah. Which I should have clued into last time. I was reading my notes wrong. That's why I said that Unknown was added in the international. I should have clued into that because the lore surrounding Unknown that was in... Ansem Report 12 is way too close to what they would actually do and what the ideas they had for Kingdom Hearts 2 to have been in the international version. This was after they were already pretty well into planning, too.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this area, Final Dimension, tricks you a little bit. Opened up a chest and it triggers a fight. Although you still get a prize afterwards as if it came from the chest, so... Now, one of the items that I got last fight was Stormy Wind. That's another modded localization change I made. In the original game, that's called Gale. But they added in an item that I'll get later called a Stormy Stone, and they use the same word, so I renamed it to the literal translation of Stormy Wind. And those Stormy items are the ones that you need for Ultima Weapon that you can only get here.
Oh, that's annoying. So the way this is laid out, at first I thought that, like, this was an abyss and we'd have to fly.
No. So when we go into a fight here, you see all the walls around us?
Yeah.
This is the actual geometry of the area.
Oh.
So when you go off the path here, I'm careful about not hitting any walls. There's a bunch of invisible walls in this area called Final Dimension. But you don't see them until you are here in a battle. Okay. So you can actually look around and be like, oh, hey, there's the path to the next chest and whatnot.
Oh, so you can't just walk around willy-nilly in that big open space?
No, you'll run into invisible walls. There's a map there. There's a maps online that show you exactly how it is.
Okay.
These little outcroppings generally point to the direction of the next that you can go, so it's not complete guesswork.
That's pretty cool.
I really, really like End of the World. It's similar to how I'm not sure the series has ever quite topped the first visit to Hollow Bastion. I'm not sure that the series has ever quite topped this as a final world. This place is trippy, and it feels like you are leaving common sense and reality behind, and you are going to something truly eldritch and wrong. And I don't know, it's a vibe that the series has never had before, or has never had since, I don't think. Oh, jeez. So one of the annoying things about the Invisibles is that they can go invisible, they hit down their sword, and then you can't hit them, you can't hurt them until they come back and pick up their sword again.
You know, in line with saying, you know, this place is trippy and eldritch, I do love the idea that this is a very, like... Oh, yeah, you can see the chest in that cutscene and then here. So, yeah, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
It does have you're outside the bounds of reality right now, almost. Like, you're outside of the universe, kind of, in a way.
It's a descent into hell. Like, the Realm of Darkness is the Kingdom Hearts' universe equivalent of hell, and we are descending into it. This is like some Dante's Inferno stuff.
Well, considering all that it looks like ice down here, that's very fitting.
Yep. Also, last time you asked me, oh, right, should we be leveling up faster now that we're, like, past level 50? And I said yes, and I completely forgot that, no, if I were to do this again, I would pick, starting the journey at dusk. I started at dawn, so we're actually leveling up slower now.
It had been so long, I couldn't remember. For some reason, I thought you did it the other way.
Yeah, and I forgot too. So you see that I'm using the Lionheart Keyblade. Because obviously I'm not going to get Ultimate Weapon until part 25, which is when we do the actual final boss. So Ultimate Weapon is the best Keyblade in the game by far, but it's not the best in any one area. Like, any given stat that Keyblades have, there's probably one that does it better. Like, Diamond Dust gives more MP, Metal Chocobo is a bit longer, but Ultimate Weapon is really, really good in every category, all at the same time, whereas everything else has some sort of crippling weakness. So when you look at if you try and quantify the Ultimate Weapon and give it a baseline of stats, it's off the charts.
Is every Behemoth an artificial Heartless?
It is, I believe, an Emblem Heartless, so yes, it would be artificial. Pretty much all Pureblood Heartless are pure black. So that's like Shadows, the Dark Balls. I'm pretty sure Invisibles are as well. Dark Sides are Pureblood Heartless.
I love that attack.
Yep, that's Ragnarok, finally showing that off. It's another one of Sora's signature moves. So that's another Behemoth, and I got an Omega Arts.
Nice.
That's one of the best accessories. Love that. Oh, boy. So, because I am a bit of a perfectionist in regards to this playthrough and wanted to plan everything out very cleanly, this room was probably the hardest to record, simply because there's so much height variation and everything, and trying to get a decent path that covers everything was very difficult. I had to record this a couple times.
Man. Like, I like it and hate this room. The vibes are horrendous.
I love it. It's just, doing it for this playthrough was a bit of a challenge.
No, I get that. I just mean it's very oppressive in its, like,
yes.
design.
My interpretation when I first played this room is like, oh, this is the source of Gummi.
That's what I was thinking.
Now, technically, I believe in one of the Ansem reports we read last time, and I think before I mentioned, oh, my impression was that the walls around the world preventing travel between them were made up of Gummi, and when they are broken, that's when Gummi falls on the worlds. I think that one of those Ansem reports outright states that.
It does.
But, you know, there being like a Gummi quarry in here makes sense as, you know, random bits of world parts forming the end of the world.
And I'll point out something. In that last big open area, you talked about invisible walls. And basically, it went from invisible to the scenery did look kind of like Gummi, so it kind of does work really well.
Mm-hmm. And they managed to do that without having this place look silly, because the Gummi ships and everything are inherently silly.
Yeah.
But here it's just sort of alien.
Ooh, I like that.
So Meteor Strike, I believe that was added in Final Mix, but it's got really high attack, but it lowers Donald's magic, and Donald's magic is all he's good for. I don't even know why they bother giving Donald attack-focused staves. I'm never going to use them.
Huh. That is an interesting thought, since he's a magic user.
Here's a mechanic that barely shows up at all. Shimmying along walls.
Oh, wow. I completely forgot about that.
There's even an animation for hanging on it and then pulling yourself up into a shimmy.
Eat your heart out, Wind Waker. You know, this Gummi, if it is Gummi, it reminds me of Gummi that's gone bad. Or not bad, but like you leave it out and it gets really, really hard. As opposed to like the Gummi that your ship is made out of. Wonder if they like have to refine this stuff. I don't know. I'm just theory crafting, but it is weird. It's like I think rainbow mold.
Yeah. I want to say that the reason why Gummi is so useful in this universe is because you can just take two parts, stick them together, they stay together, and if you want to pull them apart, they come apart.
Right.
Which is the lore of why it's so easy to build ships in this. You just put the pieces next to each other. But yeah, I think it's canon that these things just stick together in the best possible way you could ask for.
It is funny, Captain Hook's ship lets him go between worlds, but it itself is not a Gummi ship.
I mean, exactly how it flies is not entirely clear, but as long as the walls are down, you can go from world to world however you want.
That's true. I mean, you could technically...
Gummi ships are just convenient.
You could technically just air swim it if you had to, I guess, since there's no vacuum. It's not like a space vacuum, right?
No. We've seen at least one instance of someone just sitting on the world map before, and they're fine. It's kind of like Treasure Planet, how how there's an atmosphere in space.
The warm winds of the Ethereum or something like that.
There was a fade cut there. After getting the perfect run through the Gummi Fisher, I made a slight mistake when going in here, and I had to be like, no, I don't want to record it again.
Yeah, I hate that feeling.
It's not a big deal, but I'm just like, oh, but I love this part of the game. I want to show it off right.
I remember this. This is like super cool.
Yeah, so this is the world terminus. There would be a theme, somewhat, of games in the final area, you going back to all of the previous worlds you've been to. So, and all of these are optional, but you get an item for all of them.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought you had to do them. That's funny.
I don't think you do. I think you can just ignore the portal and move on to the next place.
Oh, oops. Oh, that was fun. So, am I to understand, is this an illusion, or are we literally back in Traverse Town?
It's not entirely clear. When I first played it, I considered it, mostly from the fact that the music doesn't change, that these are like some sort of trippy illusion or memory or like an alternate reality. But I think you could read this as these being the portals that the Heartless use to invade the worlds.
Oh, that makes sense. I like that.
I don't think that has ever been stated, though, so take that with a grain of salt.
Right, but it actually... I enjoy that interpretation because it at least gives... I don't know.
Some
gives some
context
reason.
to all of this.
Yeah, I like it. Because I view the Heartless as, at least from what this game has shown, aside from what Ansem's been doing, Heartless strike me almost as a force of nature that just exists in the universe.
They basically are, and I mean they're getting closer and closer to explaining more of their origins and whatnot. But yeah, Heartless are creatures driven by id. They just want to consume hearts and stuff. So yeah,
it's like entropy or something.
Oh, hey, it just shows the poster. Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Hades Cup poster is only on the one side, not the other.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got Ripple Drive.
What's that one
That's
do?
like... Ripple Drive is like one of the only combat moves that you get if you pick the staff. It causes Sora to do like a giant explosion, and it's based off of your magic power instead of your attack power.
I like that. Oh, there's a chest back there.
Yeah, there's a little chest in all of these world terminus areas.
I guess that's one argument that you could say, well, the chest wasn't in the normal world, so this must not be the same place, but that's pedantic.
Eh. Oh yeah, since we've already seen Ansem in the flesh on an earlier part, I can say, I think I talked before that Sora's model in this version of the game is not the exact same one from Kingdom Hearts 2. It's a modern, or Kingdom Hearts 1, it's a modified version of the one from Dream Drop Distance. The same is true for Ansem. His model is from Dream Drop. Man, with all the lucky strikes and everything, we're getting quite a few drops from these earlier game enemies. Not that we really need them at this point.
Yeah, you know, for the most part, I don't think I've ever seen you buy much with money.
Kingdom Hearts 1, I mean, the only shops are like in Traverse Town. I'm not there all that often, and I usually don't. And because of that, they tune the game in a way that you don't really feel the need to buy much.
That's kind of crazy they did that. Because that makes money almost feel useless. Almost useless.
A little bit. In Kingdom Hearts 2, they would realize that if they wanted people to spend money, they would have to have shops around more, and so they came up with a way to do that, and even then, I still don't buy too much with money because I don't need to. If I can get away with not doing it, I don't.
It's like a lot of Zelda games I've found. Some Zelda games, they're really, like, you gotta, like, grind for money and you have a lot to spend on. Other games, it's like, I don't really even need money. Like, it's a part of game design I don't think about a lot, but virtual economies are kind of, like, important when it comes to these kind of games, I guess.
I remember watching a video that argued that there is no way to properly emulate a real-world economy in a video game. Like, eventually, it's going to be broken in half once you get to a certain point in the game, and that's not a flaw, it's just a basic reality, and you should, instead of resisting it, you should try and embrace it and make that as fun as possible.
You should, because, like, it's a video game. Why have real... like, because you say that, and yet there's one instance I can think of where we've actually... And it's a different kind of market that's, like, weirdly real, but Final Fantasy XIV has actual, like, limited number of little houses that people can own. And as a result, there is now a housing crisis in Final Fantasy XIV that is so similar to the real world that it's like, man, I'm amazed that this just kind of emerged organically. But their solution, of course, was like, well, we'll just have a instanceable, like, apartment complex system. So, once again, like, something you can't really, unless you're gonna, like, build infinite apartments. It's like, yeah, video games are not real life. You can do wacky stuff.
Yeah, and that's largely down to that being an MMO that does more accurately reflect, societies. But in single-player games,
Oh, yeah.
forget having
Absolutely.
A realistic economy.
Like, there's a fantastic YouTube channel called... I didn't expect to come back in here. There's called Any Austin, and he talks about a lot of nitty-gritty, like, what-ifs and speculation, and what got him really big was he does census auditing for video game towns. So he's like, all right, we're going to look at their, like, population, who's employed, what, like, the driving economic factors of this town are. It just... like, applying real-world logic to such a really tiny degree, and it's kind of fun.
Kingdom Hearts 3 would be the most interesting there because it actually has crowds of NPCs and places where things should be populated. Because
I look at Zelda games, and I'm like, I can never, ever get a feel on, is a rupee $1? Is a rupee a penny? And I think that there's, like, I don't even think it's necessarily internally consistent on that, even in, like, the same game.
And yeah, again, I don't think you can fly here in... yeah, you can't.
That's a shame. Of course, now that I think about it, I've never thought to think of rupees as yen, and I really should. Because that would actually make a lot more sense.
The Pokemon currency actually being yen was a big moment for me, because I was always confused by the prices when I was
$500!
Like, okay, fantasy currency, whatever. I get that different things, but it's like, oh wait, this was made in Japan.
Yeah,
they're going off of the yen.
It is
another
interesting.
Shield for Goofy that I'm not going to use.
That's a weird one. The idea, it would be like if we only measured our money in cents. Is the best way I can, like, internalize that.
It's not too far off. That's the general rule of thumb. Lop off 2 digits. That'll give you the general idea.
Oh, hey!
Yeah, so this one, the portal here, instead of being a purple flame, is a green flame. Oh. And that might just reference the fact that, in the 100 Acre Wood here, where there's no fighting, it's just a save point. But it could also... At no point have Heartless ever been inside the 100 Acre Wood, so it could imply that this portal is non-functional for them. Okay. This. So this room right here, you're kind of meant to believe is meant to be a thing to Hollow Bastion, because that's the world, like the one world we don't have a portal to.
Right.
But there was no place like this in Hollow Bastion.
What the heck?
And this right here, about 20 years later, this machine would come back with a vengeance and become a critical plot point.
Wow. In Kingdom Hearts 3?
No, in Union Cross.
Oh, no!
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then there's this little monologue right here, which is possibly the absolute worst the series gets with Heart, Light, Dark. I'm not even going to bother reading it, because it's just like waxing. I think it's Ansem going full waxing philosophical on the heartless and darkness and hearts.
So he built this thing?
He did not.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what you're meant to understand this is. Although, wait a second. Did he... I'm trying to think of that one cutscene in Melody of Memory was... I think Ansem did have access to this.
Okay. I mean, somebody wrote this.
Yeah, but wait, this wasn't in Hollow Bastion. I guess it must have been. Yeah, so anyways, many years later, we get one cutscene in Union Cross, and it shows this thing, and everyone's minds melted, because they're like, did they really set this up all those years back? And probably not. They were just like, oh yeah, we left that machine there here in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah.
We can use it for this plot point now.
I hate these portal designs. They're very... I want to say gross looking?
It feels kind of... it's something out of Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like the Dead Zone.
Oh, wait. We didn't go through the thing with the seal, huh?
No, we did not. We went back through, and then the red flame disappeared, and then we went down into this hole to here. Hey. As soon as you hear that music, you know what's coming.
I thought it was
Chernabog.
Oh, it was super ballsy of them to use him.
So, originally, Chernabog was going to be the final boss of the game. So at one point it was going to be Maleficent, then at a different point it was Chernabog. Oh, right here. You can, even though this fight is a one where you're flying around, you can land on his shoulder and summon Tinkerbell.
Oh, that's nice.
So, hold on one second, Chernabog. So, I think after they moved on from Maleficent being the final boss, they imagined Chernabog. So, what it was going to be is that Chernabog was going to emerge from the keyhole in Hollow Bastion and be the final boss as the embodiment of darkness. However, after they moved on and created the character of Ansem as the real final boss, Chernabog, I guess they didn't want to get rid of him because he's so cool. They just had him as a random boss that has no context, and you just sort of fight him, and that's it.
So I guess, in the context of this game, though, he's probably a Heartless, or...
No, I don't think he's a Heartless. He's just a being of ultimate darkness.
Ah.
But yeah, and then it was only after Ansem was created that End of the World was created. Yeah, I think after fighting those bonus bosses, I've got a little bit of extra gas.
Yeah, because I struggled hard with him for a while.
Yeah, I just find it so interesting that End of the World as the final area of the game wasn't envisioned until after Ansem was created as a character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
there we have
Glide.
Super Glide. So now, when you jump, you can either press circle, hold down circle to do a slow glide, or hold down square to do a faster glide. This is another reason why I decided to do time travel to do Sephiroth and the Unknown last part, because Super Glide helps a lot, and I would have hated myself having to try to beat those bosses without it.
Oh, I didn't even notice you were gliding faster. That's interesting.
Yeah, and the animation is a bit different. He, instead of holding his arms and legs out, he holds them back. Okay, so this right here. This is Sleeping Beauty's world.
Oh.
Look at the trees.
Yeah.
So this right here, these next few rooms, I think you were meant to understand, are the destroyed worlds of some of the princesses. This is Snow White's world. We're in the forest.
Yep.
And then I think the next one, and they get progressively more warped. I think we're meant to understand that this next room is Cinderella's world, but it's barely recognizable. Like, it is just completely twisted. So I always love that. And that, I mean, with the bushes and the thorns, that's clearly supposed to be implication.
100%.
All right. So this room is called Linked Worlds for some reason. I don't know why. Clearly we haven't fought enough behemoths yet, so here's another one.
Yeah, I think this might be the behemoth that I hated.
So this room, it's never really given me too much trouble. It is very long. You could probably knock out one of the waves here. It's a pretty long fight, but I have seen people online saying that this room just hard stopped them. They could not beat this room, and to the point where they just gave up on beating the game in general.
Wow.
And I'm like, really? You got this far, but this room is what stopped you? Okay then. But I mean, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of dark balls, a lot of invisibles, a lot of angel stars, which are those white angelic heartless. Which I think are meant to be like the ultimate version of those like Bell heartless that are colored and themed after the different spells.
Right. Because I remember doing this and struggling, like, I think that was the big thing, is like, because you fight Chernabog, and then you fight the Behemoth, and then you fight this room, and there's no save. So you
There
end
isn't,
up,
no.
and I think that's what really made it bad for me.
And you know what? That may be what people are talking about, that each time they failed here, they had to refight Chernabog.
Which, yeah, and I think that's just too much.
Yeah, I can understand that. One little save point after Chernabog could have been warranted.
Yeah. Not to mention it kind of cheapens Chernabog.
Yeah, if you have to fight him all over again. Oh yeah, and if you do are after Chernabog and you're worried about this fight, remember that you can go into the pause menu and activate like a cottage or something to refill all your health and MP. Because you probably have a dozen of those and forget about them. I forget about them a lot.
As a D&D player, I like to think that it, like, pops open a little, like, literal, like, place to just chill. Like Lemon's Tiny Hut. Actually, that's not what that spell does, but that's what I like to think of it as. So, it kind of reminds me of Monstro. With this green floor, I'm getting kind of a stomach acid vibe.
Oh yeah, and the purple walls and everything. Yeah, it feels a bit like Monstro.
But also, it reminds me of Metroid Prime when you fight it and you're going into the depths. Because those princess rooms, like, you know, you look on the map in Prime and you have those like 4 switchbacks where you fight Prime before you get to the very bottom. And it is just like, it's just this weird, like, I like games that do this where it's like, it's cosmic, it's otherworldly, but most of all, it's slightly organic. And that's what I think makes it the most unsettling.
Yeah, that's. I think that is probably a design decision for a lot of these things. They try to make it just ever so slightly like you're inside something alive. All right, there we go. Going through the big Heartless emblem, and we get to Final Rest. This is it. That door over there leads to the final boss. It's the point of no return.
It's nice of them to name that so you would know.
Yeah, you know, putting it right in the thing. So, right here, this is actually the last mini-game Heartless. These are the Neoshadows, and they drop the Stormy Stone, the last thing we need for Ultimate Weapon. And the reason why there was a fade cut is because they don't always spawn in this room.
I do like that there's like almost like a grown-up version of the basic Heartless that we've been fighting.
And these were first seen in the secret movies to this game, and then when they did Final Mix and added all the minigame Heartless, they were like, hey, let's make them actual enemies. And these guys, I don't mind them. This is one of the absolutely fine ones, because it's while there are some gimmicks to them, you're mostly just running around killing them, and then you get the thing. Yeah, so right there, one of them came out of the floor and grabbed Sora's ankle.
Oh.
Prevents you from moving.
Ooh, that's a good use of stop.
Yeah, that was like the one time Donald used stop where I'm like, good on you, Donald.
Oh, that was Donald? I thought you did it.
Oh, no,
Man.
I didn't. That was Donald.
Thank you, Donald. I didn't even know he could cast stop.
Alright, so there was Stormy Stone. Alright, when we fade back in next time, I will have Ultimate Weapon, and we will be beginning the finale of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix.